What's up, everybody? Time for another game theory, how I did the combo kind of video. If you like the videos, like, sub, silly, comment, share, support the channel. If you can, I appreciate it. Thanks to the few people that actually did support the channel recently. I do appreciate it. So today we're going to talk about how I did combos in Street Fighter 4 that people said were impossible, and they refused to share my videos, which is kind of funny because my guide videos, I think I have one video that almost has 70,000 views, despite people in America didn't want to share it because they said I was cheating, because these were technically, if you go by frame data wise, they were impossible to do. They were not possible. So I must have been cheating to do them, I guess, but obviously I wasn't. But this gives us a topic to talk about to keep the channel active. And I was just talking about pre-planned combos in Street Fighter 6, etc. So let's watch this. This is a combo that frame data wise, if you look at the frame data, this combo is impossible. Okay. This combo should not work if you go by the frame data, right? Just like this. You should not be able to get his duck fierce like that. Frame data wise, it's impossible, right? And I've always said that frame data existed before Street Fighter 2, but people didn't really talk about frame data. And once you got to Street Fighter 5, I feel like it was full blown. You could really see them trying to bring in the 3D audience into a Street Fighter game. But perhaps one of the reasons that people thought that I cheated even when I made my Street Fighter 4 videos is Street Fighter 4 is perhaps the first Street Fighter where even Americans readily had frame data available. I think it was even in strategy guides, correct me if I'm wrong, right? And so people would post frame data. And so perhaps when they would post this frame data, they would be like, Clayton is doing combos that the math doesn't add up. These can't work, right? So let's show you an example of how I did this, because this goes exactly with what I was talking about. So if you watch Guy, he jumps in with the fierce, or a roundhouse, I guess I do first. Look at how Goken, his head goes back, right? I do the stand roundhouse, it hits, right? I do a jump fierce, his head goes back, the roundhouse hits, right? But Guy has a few moves, his stand, or the roundhouse, the medium kick, and the elbow drop, that if they hit a character's body in Street Fighter 4, they kneel over and they do a different animation, okay? And so you see the stand roundhouse then whiffs, right? So he has a few attacks that do this in Street Fighter 4 that, depending on where you hit the body, they get a different reel back animation, right? So let's watch this again. Stand round or jump roundhouse at the face, boom, it hits, right? However, if I do it like this, aim for the gut, oh, it whiffs. Well, fuck me. Fuck my titties on a Sunday, right? Now showing again, a medium kick is another example of something that this works with. And that, I hit it late, right? Because you could see he goes in, and then you can make it hit late, which we'll show here then, right? So if we do this jump roundhouse right here, boom, you can see it's whiffing, right? And then once he brings his head back up, it hits him, which then allows, that is technically frame data wise not supposed to work, and people would say I cheated for my videos and this stuff isn't real. And I've seen some guys try to say, oh, I don't know how Clayton did this, it must have taken him like thousands of tries to do this is like impossible, blah 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 blah. It's like, no, dude. Elbow drop again, hits him in the stomach, so boom. Again, theoretically or mathematically, that combo's not supposed to work. Boom, boom, boom. And then for that, in case you didn't know, that's a micro walk then. So we do gut, boom, boom. Then I micro walk forward, which I've done for a lot of combos, right? Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Personally, I still think the coolest version of that move, for a little Street Fighter history tidbit, Street Fighter Alpha 1 is the only version of Guy where he does the different super, where he does like two different roundhouses, and he has a specific voice that only happens during that super. He does a specific ah! And he only has it in Street Fighter Alpha 1. Every other Street Fighter, he shares the yeah with different moves. I don't know. There's a random Street Fighter trivia for you. So anyway, this is an example though, and I should note that this does not work with other versions of Guy, because once Guy got to other versions of Street Fighter 4, they actually gave him a bigger hurt box or a hitbox on some of his attacks. So some of those weird combos that I did in the original Super Street Fighter 4, whatever it was when he came out, those actually do not work in later versions of the game. which is kind of sad because it's kind of like a double-edged sword, I guess. You get a buff to your normal, but because of that, then you can't get some of these weird late hitting combos that I did. But I just thought that was an example because I made that recent video, talking about Street Fighter 6 and the pre-plannedness and how Dragon Punches, oh, it hit late. We don't want you to we're going to make it so the guy gets sucked down to the ground faster because the game is so pre-planned. And you think about characters like Ken, and it's like, I can tell, or you can tell perhaps, right, that obviously they gave his Dragon Punch juggle points and all this stuff because they want you to be able to juggle with it, right? But seemingly the game is so pre-planned and there's no room for creativity, no room for combos on the fly. Characters all have the same hurt boxes and hit boxes. It's almost like, well, the Dragon Punch is for juggles when you juggle after the super. Even though you should be able to set it up if you're using a sort of not brain rotted, your brain hasn't been pillaged by the past 10 years of video games, whatever, right? You'd be like, this should work. You're like, oh, the guy just gets sucked down, so it doesn't work. Oh, so you already figured out all the combos for me. Oh, everyone has the same combos. Oh, the combos work the same. It's just terrible. But anyway, since I had Street Fighter 4 in recently, I thought I would record that again in case you were curious, because that is an example of stuff that is not supposed to work frame data wise. And people have said that I cheated before to do it. So that's how it works. I actually don't think it's that insane, but I do think it's funny. Like I said, I have some Street Fighter 4 videos that I think almost have 70,000 views, and that's just because the Japanese were sharing them. Americans were like, oh, we can't dare post Clayton's videos, he cheats to do his things. Yeah, sure, okay, which is amazing. You think about, like I said, to find out that all these other guys have been exposed for cheating, and I'm like, am I one of the only guys that has ever done stuff legitimately now? It's fucking sad. But anyway, if you like the videos, like, subscribe, comment, share, support the channel if you want. I appreciate it. Thanks to the few people that did support the channel recently. It does help.